Hello, guys. This past 2 days, Friday and Saturday, I attended a workshop kind of conference with Inclusion Alberta here in Edmonton over at the Fantasy Hotel. And what I got away from this conference was that a lot of the focus was on children and the education system and families. The problem that I see is that as much as they did mention autism related type things in the group, it was primarily for children or severe needs. And there's our end of the spectrum. And like any disability, there's the severe end and then there's our end. And this I brought up in full force at this conference in many of the talks and discussions that dealt with children and stuff. And I basically told them, hey, look, uh, I know that this is primarily towards education and children and families, but there's the other end of things, my end of the spectrum, for which there are adults that live at home with their mothers, but they're high functioning like me, whose parents that may be 80 plus and have health issues of their own. And then there's the person itself with autism, and they're put in a situation where they're taking care of their parents plus themselves. And then once those supports are gone, then what then? You know, if you can't function in society, how do you pay your bills? Or even properly communicate? People expect us to work, but again, you need proper socialization skills, communication skills, all of which society takes for granted that we know how to do based on maybe we were taught younger, but like anyone, if you don't use it, you lose it. And that's a going problem. And like anything, for us, it has to be an ongoing situation. It doesn't, what we have is lifelong. So therefore, we would need these services and such for the rest of our lives. Because what we were taught one day may be forgotten the next. Anyway, the other part of it was this one discussion group was all about inclusion and community. And they all talked about family and stuff. And again, I brought up our age groups, the 35 to 40 age uh, areas for which grew up in the time when there was segregation and exclusion and all that, because there was nothing for us. And then the lucky few ended up in vocation programs like I did, and was taught a lot of the skills that we needed. But again, I would need to be retaught these day in and day out, because how do you communicate or socialize properly when people are taking you as rude all the time, or different, or odd, or lazy, or whatever you want to label? And that is really hard. You can't gain a friend very well if these misnomers and belief systems are still in place in average everyday society. It's not cool. And so I brought up a situation for which, say, my age, and people expect you to just suddenly grow extra neurons to communicate properly or to socialize properly. And these skill sets you need in a job as well as at home or out in the community. Not all of us have the ability to get up and ask for directions when you're too afraid to do so because it might come out wrong. And is that fair to you? Is that fair to me? Is that fair to anyone? And I really drove home that someone in our age groups where the supports may be gone or not well enough to do what needs to be taught. And that's where our weakness in some of our areas might be. And it becomes a very lonely, secluded life. And community does not include us. They say that all these places are inclusive, but they're only inclusive to the seen or more severe disabilities or children, anything that's younger than us. So again, we get ignored, but I drove it home and I managed to talk to a scientist, actually a few of them there, that I told him, hey, look, you're a scientist, right? And he said, yeah, but I only deal with children and education. And I'm like, well, you probably have friends or acquaintances within the same realm, but more adult area. I told him that our area, especially women, once you hit over 18, all you ever see is males that are over 35, but yet, as you can see in front of you, I am 44. I still have autism, but yet there is no services, no programs anywhere in the world. So therefore, the average going age for most studies that I have ever seen end at about 35 because there is no help. How many of us have to be drug addicts? How many of us have to become alcoholics in order to escape the awful injustice that's thrown in our face all the time? How many of us wish for a better life and better services, better programs, better everything in order to support our issues and to make us feel that we're wanted in society instead of just hoping for a better day? The only way to have a better day is to fight back. The only way to have something or want something is to work hard as a team and get it out there and say, hey, look, I'm tired of living like this. I'm tired of hiding. Why should I placate my issues and not be allowed to be in society, not be allowed to go to a restaurant without having people saying that you don't look autistic, or why are you acting so different? Why are you rocking? Why are you stimming? Why are you this? Why are you that? I don't know about you, but I'm tired of all the flippin' innuendos and the negativity when it comes to beliefs and morals and standings that people throw upon us and expect us to play a game without instructions that are written down. Those invisible rules and the body language that people do, I'm blind to it. I don't know about you. I can pretend till I'm blue in the face and mask my issues like nobody's business. But really, do I want to? No, because it plays so much havoc in my marriage that it makes my husband tired and we end up fighting, or I can't be a wife to him. I'm tired of my husband having to be my advocate and worker when he should just have to be my husband. Everything that is thrown upon our supports, both in friendships and otherwise, should fall upon a worker's desk or a worker's lap to support us. It should not be the ones we love. The ones we love should be supportive in the emotional sense if you've had a hard day. And I want to change this, but I'm going to need your guys' help. That means, I'm sorry to say, but in my books, the world is wrong. Even the educated people are wrong when they say that you should hide and be afraid of everything when there is so much life going on out there that you're totally missing it. And when you placate your issues, I'm sorry, but you're missing out on life. You're missing out on so much. Yeah. You think I'm not afraid by venturing out there and seeing the world and voicing my opinion? You better believe I'm afraid. Every part of me is screaming, go home, go hide, go not be a part of something. No, I choose to make myself known. I choose to not give in to my monster. Because if I gave in, I wouldn't be doing this for you. I wouldn't be doing this for me. I wouldn't be doing this for anybody. I would be hiding, and I'd have more mental issues and more drugs thrown at me. By doing this, I'm facing my monsters, and I'm facing my reality. That if nobody does it, then nothing will get done. But if I do something that I believe in and I'm willing to fight for, then that means that I am breaking down barriers, or at least I hope I am, to a certain extent. By helping myself, it also means helping you. And I only want and hope that we can come together, because this is systemic, clear across Canada. Is not right for any of us to have to face this. And that means we all have to work together as a team effort. We have to not only do videos, but petitions, going door to door. And yeah, that means knocking on people's doors and getting people to sign things, because the government doesn't recognize online type things or petitions. And they expect things done in paper still. And yeah, unfortunate, but true. And we need to bring in our community and make sure that people know that we exist. If you stay quiet, that means that people are allowed to do what they're doing and believe what they're believing. By hiding, just makes it even more, that much more real, that what we have diagnosed out in the real world doesn't exist to most. And yet, here we are in our 30s and 40s, diagnosed but not our needs getting taken care of. Is this the life you wish? Is this the life you want by not being included? We shouldn't have to hide. We shouldn't have to pretend to be something that we're not just to live. We should be allowed to be ourselves and be included in society. So that means forcing yourself to be a part of it and forcing society to understand it and let people think as they may. Because our disability is not going to go away, and neither am I. That's all I have to say.